And I feel like we can beat anybody, too. It's the Friday edition of Coast to Coast. So we have the prospect, Kerry, of this Monster Sunday. Depending on what happens tonight in Houston, we could have 3 Game 7s on that day for just the second time in NBA history.
Well, David, if that is the case, all bets are off. That's only if you ask me. In my opinion, IMO, as the kids say. No team with a clear path, especially in the West. So let's start with Golden State, shall we, David?
Yes.
So the Warriors must close out the Western Conference semifinals without Kevin Durant, and that could be trouble. KD leads the Warriors with over 34 points per game this postseason, on pace to be the second most by any player in the last 25 postseasons. The Dubs have been worse on both ends of the floor without him. The Warriors have been outscored by 14 points without KD and have outscored opponents by 79 points with him. So they need him. Durant's 42 minutes per game in this series are going to be tough to replace, considering that the other 3 guys are playing over 40 minutes per game this series. So, David, they need some depth. What shall they do?
They shall go to Stephen A. and find out. So, Stephen A., we saw the Warriors without Durant outplay the Rockets down the stretch in Game 5. Hard to do that over a full 48. What would need to happen for Golden State to upset the Rockets tonight?
Well, first of all, you need an explosion from Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. You're going to need a collective effort from that backcourt, the greatest shooting backcourt that we've ever seen. The fact of the matter is Klay Thompson and Steph Curry stepped up in the fourth quarter and handled their business in admirable fashion, but you need to be more consistent. And this time you're not going to catch the Houston Rockets by surprise. You're going to have an opportunity, if you're PJ Tucker, to really lock in on one of those 2 guys because you don't have to preoccupy yourself with defending Kevin Durant. So the usage rate of Steph Curry is going to elevate. Klay Thompson obviously is going to be your secondary offensive option, as I'm sure he's clamoring for, and he's going to need to step up and handle his business. That's incredibly important as well. And Draymond Green, who's an all-star, is going to be somebody who's played well this series, I might add, and who's approaching a summer where the Golden State Warriors is going to be looking to make a decision as to whether or not they should re-up him or wait until he's a free agent next summer and make that decision. If not choosing to trade him beforehand, he's going to have to show up and produce as well because their bench is thin. Iguodala is older. Livingston is older, even though Iguodala was starting. But for the most part, he's coming off the bench throughout the season. Boogie Cousins is obviously out. It's going to be on the big 3 in Golden State to make up for what Kevin Durant would bring you. So we'll see if they do it.
It's a different way of playing without Durant. They move the ball more without Durant. We'll see how this works out. Let's go to the other side and the Rockets. James Harden, as we know, he just sort of disappeared at the end of Game 5. And he's had problems in these sort of late series games in the past. We remember San Antonio a couple years ago in that Game 6. If the Rockets don't win this game tonight, what does that say about James Harden?
Well, it's going to say a lot of, it ain't going to say anything good, I can tell you that much. This is his moment. This is Chris Paul's moment. But I don't hold Game 5 against James Harden to the degree that others have. Yes, he's your franchise player. Yes, he's the reigning league MVP and clearly your number 1 option. But Chris Paul's getting paid $35.6 million. Chris Paul's the one that signed a 4-year, $160 million extension in the offseason. Chris Paul is that future Hall of Fame point guard. You got the ball in your hands. If Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors decide we're going to blitz James Harden and get the ball out of his hands, you cannot have a situation where the person nearest to him is Clint Capella, because the Warriors ain't worried about Clint Capella on the perimeter, which is why they can have a man leave him to help blitz James Harden. Not just Mike D'Antoni, but it's Chris Paul, the umbilical cord to Mike D'Antoni, the coach on the basketball floor that's got to know better and get the ball yourself and put James Harden in situations where he's in a position to score, or the person that he's giving the ball to is either a Chris Paul or an Eric Gordon. You've got to figure something like that out. I can't look at James Harden when he gets blitzed and he gets the ball out of his hands because he's getting double or triple teamed just to get the ball out of his hands, and the person there to give the ball to ain't somebody that's a real active threat on the offensive side of the ball. You cannot put him in that situation. You've got to know better. And if anybody should know better, it's Chris Paul. So when I look at Game 6, I'm not just looking for points from Chris Paul. Yeah, you've got to be better offensively, pretty much more assertive because his numbers are decent, but he needs to be more assertive. But more importantly than that, you are the quintessential ultimate floor general. Run the damn show. It's your show. You're the captain of the ship. And when it comes to being a floor general, there are very few in history that have been better than Chris Paul. You cannot leave James Harden out there hanging like that. So it's not just Harden, it's Chris Paul too. And last time I said, like I checked, like I just told you, he's getting paid too.
All right. Pressure on CP3, pressure on Harden. They need this one tonight, especially with Durant out. It's there for him. We'll see if it plays out.
Or general, run the show. That's what he has to do.
Show. Stephen A. joining us as he has all week working overtime for Coast to Coast. All right, check this out. With Durant not playing, the two-time defending champs are 7-point underdogs. That would make tonight's game the largest underdog for Golden State with Steph in the lineup since Steve Kerr became head coach way back in 2014. That's a span of 440 games, including postseason games. Carrie?
I'm stressed, David. Stressed, I tell you. Meanwhile, Damian Lillard, huge game to fight off elimination for the Blazers. He did what he had to do. Let's pick it up in the third. Blazers down 1. You've called him Logo. I'll just call him Dame. Hits it from 32. Nice. That was a swish, David. Once again, another long shot, this time from 30 feet. Look. Oh, no. Lillard finished with 17 points in the third quarter. He was feeling good about himself, but that's not it. There's more. We'll move on to the fourth. So, Seth, not to be confused with Steph, turns the ball over. They go the other way. Millsap, he tries to make it happen, but he can't. Gosh, that's embarrassing. That happens to everybody, though. So, CJ, he does what he does. I got it. I'm going to put a move and a make and a shake and a break. That was nice, CJ. Very nice. You didn't need me to tell you that. 89-83 Blazers, 7 minutes to go. Rodney Hood, what about him? He had 25 points. Blazers up 14. I was really happy for him. He said, what a difference a year makes. I'm talking about Hood because he was feeling really bad about himself last year. And look at him now. Look at Dame Lillard, more importantly. He finished with 32 points. Blazers fight off elimination. They will see another Game 7. Take a listen to them on how they got the win over them.
Your last opportunity to play, so facing elimination is what it is to me. You know, that's going to be my approach, and we was facing elimination tonight. Only thing that's going to change is going to be on the road, and it's for our season, for all the marbles.
It's crazy, you know. Everybody keeps talking about experience, and it's weird to say, you know, we've been here before, you know. So we're gonna go back home, regroup, like we did for San Antonio, come back with energy, you know, use the fans to our advantage, and just be ready to play.
Jamal Murray, experience. He might be on to something, so says my researcher Alejandro. Despite Lillard and McCollum combining for more than 3 times as many playoff games as Jokic and Murray, Denver Stars actually have more combined experience in Game 7 when the Nuggets grinded out a win over at the Spurs less than 2 weeks ago. David, do you have anything?
I do. I got another Game 6 in Philly.
You do?
Last night, yeah.
Look
at Joel Embiid. He's been sick. He tries to shake Pascal Siakam's hand. He's like, I'm not shaking your hand.
I'm on that.
You've got germs.
I'm with him.
I got to stay healthy.
I hear you.
How about that Simmons? Did you see that? Ball
I did.
Fake? Little magic trick?
Yeah, whoa. I think he might have traveled, but what do I know?
No. Let's just give him his
No,
highlight.
no.
Don't rain on his parade. And then Jimmy Butler up top for Simmons. Sixers.
That's nice.
Led by 8 after the first quarter, and they're still rolling. And then Jimmy gets it off the window, but he's not done in this sequence. Last seconds of the first half, he comes back. We know he's a great two-way player. Goes and gets the steal from Kawhi.
Wow.
And they're going to get a twofer right before the buzzer to end the half.
Wow.
Yes.
David, give it up for him. Can you
W-O-W.
give it up? Give it up for him.
He's
give it
asking
up,
for
David.
it. Hello. Say hello to me. Sixers
Hello.
up 13 at the break. Embiid kind of started slow, Carey, but he would pour it on. The rejection there of Kawhi. And then Mike Scott leaves it for Simmons, who throws down. See it again. Sixers in a hurry. Simmons had 21. He didn't really throw it down. He laid it in.
Somebody might have got some sleep. Little IV.
And then Embiid stepping out. He can hit that shot.
He's not
Sixers
sick
force a
anymore,
Game 7 with a bounce-back performance.
Then if you play bad, you want to come back the next game and play better. We up there in Toronto, we felt like, we didn't play the way we wanted to, and we made a lot of mistakes, and tonight they had to be corrected.
Home crowd was great. No boos. They booed us a little bit, right?
They did boo.
Okay, they booed us a little bit.
They did.
We appreciate it. But all in all, they was really into the game.
Ah, that's nothing. That was just a smattering of boos. That's just showing they care in Philly. Take a look at Joel Embiid's impact. The Sixers have outscored the Raptors by 80 when Embiid's on the floor. They've been outscored by nearly 100 with him off it. Embiid has averaged only 32 minutes a game in this series. May need him to go a little deeper.